guys, and welcome to my hurricane forecast. Today I'm going to be talking about La Nina. Now, as you can see here on this map, you can see this is the cooler water temperatures in the Eastern Pacific, and you can see on the Eastern Pacific side has fewer hurricanes, and on the Atlantic and the Caribbean side has more hurricanes. Now, in this video, I'm going to be explaining all of that. Now, first I'm going to be explaining about La Nina. La Nina is just typically the warmer water temperatures in the Atlantic and the cooler water temperatures in the Eastern Pacific, and the stronger wind shear in the Eastern Pacific and the weaker vertical wind shear in the Atlantic. So, as I said in my previous forecast that I did, with less wind shear, we would see an increase in tropical activity. But with stronger wind shear, as you can see in the Pacific, you can see that there would be fewer hurricanes, which means that the amount of hurricanes that we are currently seeing forming in the Eastern Pacific would be gone, and it would switch over towards the Atlantic side, which means that gives us a good hint that this is going to be a very active hurricane season for the 2021 Atlantic hurricane season, because it has already begun, and now we have seen these named storms form. Some affect land and some just go out to sea and become fish storms. But that just tells us that no matter what, we should be prepared, because we would never know when our storms would be heading to our area. Now, if you live around, let's just say, southern Mexico, now at this time, which I expect La Nina to return, would be in September, which means by September all of the activity in the Eastern Pacific is probably going to cool down, and that's going to be the effects of La Nina. And you would see a very significant increase in tropical activity in the Atlantic and the Western Caribbean. So that just tells us that although we are seeing no activity in the Atlantic nor in the Caribbean or Gulf of Mexico, that does not necessarily mean that we will not be seeing activity as we get late into August and September. Because remember, things can change dramatically when it comes to the tropics. So, if you live in areas that you know are prone to hurricanes, especially along the Gulf Coast, you would like to start preparing from now if you're not already prepared. Because I expect when these tropical storms and hurricanes start forming, they would be forming back to back, and still they would not give us another break like this. So take advantage of this break to please prepare, because as I said, I don't expect this break to last 2 months long. Maybe even 1 week from now, things could completely change in the whole entire Atlantic and Caribbean, because on the National Hurricane Center map, no tropical cyclone are expected to form in the next 5 days, and as I said, this could change. So let's talk about La Nina. Now, La Nina has some very significant impacts on the whole entire Atlantic and the Eastern Pacific. So we would see cooler water temperatures in the Western Caribbean, Western Atlantic, not Atlantic, in the Caribbean, warmer water temperatures in the Caribbean. Throughout the whole entire Atlantic, there would be warmer water temperatures. And if we switch over to the Eastern Pacific, there would be cooler water temperatures and stronger vertical wind shear. Now, that means that for the Eastern Pacific, there would be less hurricanes And for the Atlantic now, there's going to be a very dramatic increase in tropical activity, which means that we would see this world bus tropical waves move off the coast of Africa and tend to have vorticity in them. So they would move off the coast of Africa, move into the Caribbean, or move up north towards the US East Coast or Florida. But regardless of what happens in the Pacific, this would lead to a more intense tropical activity in the Caribbean and Gulf of Mexico. Because remember, as I said, La Nina causes very significant changes in the Atlantic and the Eastern Pacific. So if you live anywhere along Puerto Rico, the US Virgin Islands, Little Lesser Antilles, let's just go down. We're going to start from at least we're going to start from North Carolina, stretching all the way down to Nicaragua. Because that's because remember, the high pressure, I really expect the high pressure to remain over Canada, and I'm going to be showing you that, guys, that very soon. But that just tells you that things could change very quick in the Atlantic and the Caribbean when it comes to tropical activity, and even the Gulf of Mexico. Because sometimes tropical waves move up into the Gulf of Mexico. They do not usually really develop really quickly, but we would usually see rapid intensification. And if you do not know what's rapid intensification, it usually is between 12 to 24 hours when let's just go with a category 1 hurricane. Imagine a category 1 hurricane quickly intensifies from that status onto a category 4 hurricane status, which would be called rapid intensification. And we see this occurred so many times in the 2020 Atlantic hurricane season. So that does not mean that because we saw it occur so many times in the previous season that we had, we won't see it happen in this season. So now I'm going to be switching over to the map that I said I would be showing you guys about the high pressure remaining over I think Canada, and I'm going to be presenting that right now. Now as you can see here, guys, you can see this is the map, and you can see that there's the high pressure up towards the north in that general area. As you can see there, this is the high pressure right here, and this would make storms steer more towards the western Caribbean and move up towards the US East Coast or Florida. So as I said, the high pressure would be placed in that area, which would cause these storms to move into the Caribbean or take a more northern turn towards the US East Coast or Florida. So as you can see here, you can see that little arrow on the beginning right there. That's the tropical waves moving off the coast of Africa that I said usually tend to be world-blast tropical waves with spin in them that would normally get highlighted by the National Hurricane Center if they see that it might be a concern for land. So as I said, these tropical waves tend to move across the Atlantic. Either they go up north of the US Virgin Islands like Cuba, Puerto Rico, or get straight through the Lesser Antilles and move into the Caribbean. So when they move into the Caribbean, they would have more or less land interaction. Because remember, still they could take these northern tracks and move north of the Bahamas. But I expect them, if they move in that general direction, I do expect them to probably going to affect the Bahamas, but still, I do expect them to affect the Bahamas, then move up towards the U.S. East Coast. But when they come in the Caribbean, that's going to be a different situation. Because remember, with the Caribbean, the only land interaction it's going to, especially if it moves into the central Caribbean, just in the center of the Caribbean, and takes more of that westward turn and would give less of it impacts to Jamaica, then we would see them more intensify. So as I said, these things could come in the Caribbean, still take a northern track after that, and move up towards the Gulf of Mexico. Then probably make landfall along Texas, New Orleans, Louisiana, or go towards western Florida. So this is just telling you that anything will be possible in this hurricane season, because these storms can sometimes be unpredictable, but still, they're predictable, and with the climate forecast models and the National Hurricane Center and the data that they get from the storm is very informational, and they give us more data to give you guys provide this content. So thank you for watching this forecast. This is going to be the end of this forecast, and hope you like it. Give it a thumbs up, share it if you wanna, and subscribe, and please share this video. So thank you for watching. So guys, if you know that if you are already prepared and you live in areas that you know are prone to hurricane, hope you prepare. And once again, thank you for watching this video.